you've been arrested for domestic violence, or your family member has, and you want to know what's going to happen next. So what I want to do is I want to walk you through the process of what's going to happen, how it works, and we'll go from there. So the police are going to get called to the scene, okay? And that can happen in a number of different ways. One of the people involved in the disturbance can call a neighbor, a friend, a family member, but they get there. When they get there, they're going to make a determination if someone needs to go into custody, and they're going to do that pretty quick. Sometimes they talk to both parties, sometimes they don't. They're going to make their determination, but generally speaking, there's a good chance that someone, if they're called to the scene, is going to get taken to jail. Now, once they're taken to jail, they can't get released until they see the judge. So it's not as if, like a lot of cases, if you get arrested on something, there's a sort of standard bond. They go into custody. As soon as they've been booked into jail, you can post a bond and try and get them out relatively quickly, under the circumstances. But in a domestic violence arrest, it's different. You have to wait until at least the next day to see a judge. And the reason why is the judge is going to instruct you to have no contact with the person who's the alleged victim in the case. Now, that person, sometimes they can show up at the first appearance hearing, and sometimes they can tell the judge that they want to have contact. It doesn't matter. If the judge makes that determination, for the most part, they're going to say, hey, I have to stay apart. And that means no calling, no texting, no social media. They'll use the term third parties. That means no friends, family. No one can call up. You have to be apart, okay? It means you usually can't go back. If you're living together, it means you can't go back to the same home. So you're going to have to find the person who got arrested is going to have to find someplace to stay in the meantime. And the court's not that sympathetic at how you figure that out. In some counties, we're here in South Florida, and I'm in Broward, but we get a lot of cases in Miami. In Miami, a lot of times they're going to put a GPS monitor on the person too, even on a misdemeanor, okay? So once they bond out, what's going to happen next? There's a period of time between when you get arrested and when the state files charges, okay? Typically, it's a couple weeks. What we want to do is we want to speak to the prosecutor, gather some evidence that if we have any, and as a lawyer, be that intermediary to give your side of the story to the government. And the reason why you want to use a lawyer is obviously if you contact the state directly, it's never going to work that well. Anything you say to them they could use as an admission of guilt. You want to have a lawyer do that. A lot of the times that the person who's the victim in the case, or the quote unquote alleged victim, they don't want to prosecute. And we can also help there. What we do there is, we can communicate that information to the state. A lot of times the victim will have them sign an affidavit of non-prosecution. That's a document that says that they don't want to go forward in the case. And it's something that we put together that doesn't put that person who's allegedly the victim in any sort of legal jeopardy. They're not denying what happened. They're just saying they're not in fear and they don't want to go forward, okay? And then after that, sometimes that is effective in having the state not file the charges, and sometimes it isn't. So if the state decides to move forward, then we present our evidence, and then we can prepare to get ready to go to trial. But those first initial steps is really when people have the most concern, sort of the most fear about what could happen next. So if you get arrested, you're gonna have to go before the judge, and you're gonna have a no contact order given to you. And one last thing to remember is when you have that no contact order, violating it, generally speaking, is going to be a new criminal charge. And a lot of times they would revoke your bond on the original case. So not only will you have a new criminal charge, but you'll be fighting all those charges while you're in custody. So it's very important that you're very cautious in your dealings with their family, everyone. This is why you need a lawyer to be that intermediary, because you need to have a voice. You need to have someone out there working on your behalf to get the best result possible for you and your circumstances, but you don't want to do it yourself, and you don't want to do it alone. And in Magilligan Law, we have spent a lot of time in these types of cases. We have a lot of experience in these types of cases, and I'm certain there's a good way we can probably meet with you, find out the specifics, and get you the help you need. So it's David Magilligan. We're here at Magilligan Law. You can call us at 954-927-7961. If there's other topics that you're interested in, we'd be more than happy to talk to you about that and put those in a